What's up, guys? I'm James Baney, and I'm here to talk about The Bad Batch yet again. Season 3, Episode 8 this time, Bad Territory. Now, I like this episode. It's not a bad episode, but so far this season, it's not my favorite. I will continue to say that I think this is the best season so far. Season 3 has proved that it's just continually ongoing, one episode after the other, and all of them seem to be one unified direction that we're going. And so far, there hasn't been anything that sort of says, we're going to offshoot here and we'll come back to it later. It'll be important later, or maybe it won't. We're just kind of like trying to add up more context to the characters and fill them out and add these other little details. I still think season 3 is the most straightforward and delivered upon, worth it sort of feel coming out of the show so far. I'm glad that we're getting season 3 and all of these episodes, because season 1 and season 2 existed, and now we're getting to this point where the payoff is worth it. One thing I like about this season is that I'm starting to see more people in my camp, which is the Tech's not actually dead category. I don't know that to be true. And if we go all the way through to the end of the season and he never comes back, that's fine. That's a fine story. And I'll look crazy because we'll go back and watch the videos and I say, Tech's not actually dead. And then he's actually dead. But I see more people starting to get on board with how that could be really cool storytelling. Maybe he was captured. Maybe he is being turned into one of these like ex-trooper killers. Although that doesn't really line up because Crosshair was not one, or he was unable to be turned into one because he's a Bad Batcher, but how would Tech be? Anyway, I just like the idea that Tech is still around somehow, and they're going to incorporate him into the back half of the season. We'll see. I don't think this episode had like any major reveals or big things. We did get the return of Fennec Shand, which is pretty cool. But I think the main thing that we need to keep in mind with this one is just that it needs to be there so that we can tell the story. Because I think if you skipped over some of this stuff with like Crosshair's overcoming his ability to, or his disability to shoot, and then you tie in Omega with the meditation and all that, it just seems like there is too much in this episode that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you just jumped and just kind of quickly told this stuff at the beginning of another episode, it all would sort of be like, feels like they're all rushing this through. So episodes like this are good because it allows the show to breathe. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how much this episode felt like Metal Gear Solid 3. And I know a lot of people are probably saying I didn't play the game, or what does that have to do with Star Wars? But man, the influence is crazy here. It looked like the same color palette. It looked like the same, vehicles. Like we're wrestling crocodiles in the water. Hunter obviously has even been shown before to look a lot like that particular snake, let alone sort of all of them. But that one in particular with the face, Solid Snake usually puts face covering on, but Hunter's is like a tattoo. But either way, like all around, I felt like I was sort of watching an animated Metal Gear Solid. So to have him like, attacking a crocodile and they're on that like boat and everything, just got to say, as a big Metal Gear fan, felt a lot like Metal Gear 3, and I'm curious if there was a little bit of an homage to that, if that is sort of the intent or that was the purpose. You get what I'm saying. I just was kind of curious if this was like an homage to it because it so obviously felt like that. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I do want to go back to Fennec Shand though, because Fennec Shand, I think, is my favorite part of this episode. And it's not so much like her or her lines. It's just the fact that she's involved. I think it's really cool that she's tied in with Omega. I love that. And that it's sort of being brought back, again, payoff. But I really like the idea that why she's being brought in is because there are lots of bounty hunters that are all being paid to bring in these M count people. Now, here's a theory of mine. I don't remember if they said specifically in the episode if and tell me if I missed this or if I'm onto something. I don't know if the bounty hunters are being paid by the Empire or specifically like Mount Tantus people to bring in these M count people, or if maybe that was just what we're supposed to assume when given the line, like, oh, bounty hunters are bringing in M count people. Well, bounty hunters are the bad guys, or whatever. are we supposed to just be led that direction, or is there someone else who's maybe trying to gather these people up? Maybe it's a Jedi, maybe it's something else, whoever. I just thought that was kind of interesting, and obviously when we get to the very end of the episode, there's that special little thing where she's like, yeah, they're looking for the information that I've been given, and we're trying to make this work, and the voice says, like, tell me what you know, and all this, like, okay, there's something else going on, and I like all of that. I like that we're getting something new, going in a different direction. That's very cool. What I didn't like about this episode was that there was this moment at the end where they were asking for the payoff, and she's like, well, I don't have any information now. I promise I'll bring it to you later, and then leaves. I felt that made Hunter and Wrecker look so stupid. I don't know what, I think if I were in that situation, I would do the exact same thing. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't, what else could they do? It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating that it felt like they got walked over. I don't know. She took so heavy advantage of them, and they did nothing to retaliate. That that's not fair. No, you can't. You're coming with us until I don't know. It felt like they did all this work and nearly died to do something for her, and she did not repay the favor. And it's just like I hope the bounty hunter will come back with the information that we are asking for. There isn't even a defined thing. It wasn't like, you owe me $500, and she comes back and gives him $500. She could come back and be like, here's one piece of information delivered. It just, I don't know. It didn't feel right. Didn't like that ending. But I don't know. Maybe that's part of the storytelling. Maybe it's just part of the fact that that's how they have to go about this story. And in this real telling of this event, Hunter and Wrecker really did get walked on in that moment, and they didn't have any other choice, and they sort of lost that negotiation. But Fennec is maybe a good bounty hunter and will repay on what she owes. We'll see. As of now, as of episode 8, we are halfway through the final season of The Bad Batch, and I want to know what you guys are thinking. Are you liking this season so far? Tell me what you thought about this episode, but I want to hear some of your predictions for the rest of the season. The final season, we got 8 more episodes. Just let me know all your theories. I want to bake them in and maybe start incorporating them into the episodes as we get there. I think this is leading up to this. I think this is leading up to that, or I don't think that's happening, whatever it is. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Put all your thoughts in the comments below. As always, you can check out the Resistance broadcast, the regular show, where we're talking about Star Wars twice a week. When I say we, it's me, John, and Lacey, all talking about sometimes the discussion about what's going on in Star Wars, or maybe what has happened in Star Wars, but oftentimes the news as well, where we do our live show talking about all of the news that happened in the previous week. So if you're not a subscriber, subscribe, like the video, tell me what's going on in the Bad Batch, and I'll see you next week.